This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
Oh, man. Like they were saying pre-show, sun's out, guns out.
Yeah. Meanie's looking good over there in a little tankini.
Yeah, man. It's, like, you know, I'm a summer person. I love spring. I love summer. And normally when we're recording, I got, like, the shade shut and, you know, the lights, and I'm illuminated. I was like, it's a beautiful day out. Let me just get a window open, get some sunshine in here, put on a tank top. Be all comfortable.
Yeah, man.
Because like we were saying off air with our Patreons that, you know, growing up in Atlantic City, I was always a summer guy, always down the beach, stuff like that. So, you know, I'm in a good mood today. It's nice out. It's not too hot. It's not oppressively hot. It's not too cool to where, you know, I can cut glass with my nipples. But, you know, just... Yeah, I'm in a good mood.
Stay tuned for our December episodes.
No, today's a good day so far. So let's see what happens the rest of the day.
Anything can happen.
I probably just jinxed myself.
It was a Patreon member, James Sorensen, says perfect morning for mowing, which I was going to make a Manscaped joke, but they're actually not sponsoring this week. They're sponsoring next week. So James, come back with that joke next week. But while you're at it, manscaped.com, promo code Meanie20, save 20%. They're always sponsoring as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that code's always valid. So.
Code's always valid, and the deal's always there, and they're getting a little freebie right here. But yeah,
hit 'em up for some extra,
I was out.
Extra coin.
What's up?
Hit him up for some extra coin for the bonus mention.
Seriously. And then you can take care of your coin purse. I was out in the garden this morning, which was fine. I was out there just pulling some weeds and putting some the stuff starting to grow a little bit. So I had to put some cages around the kind of doing a cage match with the tomatoes, you know. Putting the cage on there.
Keep the critters away.
Yeah, I got the old the big blue. You know, but yeah, so it's these aren't to keep the critters away. These are more to help it grow, like so it'll help it like go up as opposed to just going all over the place. But
my bad.
Yeah, it's all right, Meanie. We'll let you slide.
Well,
on this
I live in South Philly
thumb,
where we.
So
I live in South Philly where we don't have yards. It's just concrete. So that's the one bummer about living here. Other than, you know. I love living in South Philly, but that's the only thing I miss is I miss it, you know, having a yard, you know, where you could just go out and put your feet in the dirt and
it's
be
cool.
close with the earth.
There's pluses and minuses with it. Having the yard is great because you get to have the yard. Having the yard also means you have to care for the yard. So, you know.
Yeah, I don't miss that.
Concrete's a little easier to care for, and there are plenty of times I wish I just had concrete. But we don't even have sidewalks in my neighborhood. Which is weird to me.
I noticed. Yeah. You just walk in the street, kind of.
It's really weird. Like, because I always had sidewalks in my neighborhood growing up. My wife, who grew up around this area, her neighborhood didn't have sidewalks either. And so she's just like, yeah, it's normal. Just kind of, and I'm like, when I was a kid, that was kind of the safety measure. Like when your kids are riding, you know, when like we're riding our bikes, it was like, ride your bike on the sidewalk. Do not go on the street. Don't cross the street. Don't, you know. And you're like pretty safe knowing your kid's riding their bike on the sidewalk. Odds are they're not going to get hit by a car. What am I supposed to do with my kids? Stay in the street, but not the street, only the street. Like
the beat street. Yeah. King of the beat.
Beat Street. Yeah, shout out to Beat Street. That was a neat place. There was a place called Beat Street where people used to. I DJ'd there when I was younger. DJ'd bar and bat mitzvahs.
Oh, I was just talking about the 1980s rap movie that was like, you know how like they put out like a movie and then there's like a bunch of other movies similar, like you know, there's like there's a Meteor movie, Deep Impact, and then they had the Bruce Willis movie, Armageddon, you know, meteors coming to Earth. Yep. But, you know, back in the 80s, they had Beat Street, and then they started doing breaking and stuff like that, like, you know, rapping, breakdance, and stuff like that. Yeah,
just like, oh, this one was successful. Let's do one identical to it.
Yeah, but they were all good, and the rapping was good, and there's, like, tons of cameos and stuff like that. Not like our cameos today.
I wonder if the guy named Beat Street after that.
He probably did.
Because it was this guy, his name was Bobby Morgenstein. And Bobby Morgenstein,
it's a legendary
BMP,
movie.
Bobby Morgenstein Productions. And he did weddings, bar mitzvahs, you know, party, all that stuff. He had a big DJ thing. And I DJ'd for him for like 6 months or something. A friend of mine who was a DJ for a long period of time, he's like, hey, we need a little extra help. And I'm like, you know, I can spin a couple CDs and I can make a mix. But it was fun. It was neat. The venue was great. All I ever thought about, like they had, it was all, like it made me think of like a kid's version of like a Shotgun Saturday Night. You know what I mean? Like how they were always in the bars and things.
It always comes back to wrestling.
Oh my! First of all, dude, anywhere I ever went in my childhood, and especially when I was like thinking about like starting my own wrestling, anywhere I went with an open space, I was like, you could put a wrestling ring in there. You could do a show. I remember walking around places in Italy, and I'm looking at the Coliseum, and I'm thinking to myself, well, why doesn't Vince McMahon just come in? He can come in, he can build platforms all around here on the Coliseum to cover up, and then you put a ring in it, and you get to have a show from the Coliseum. Like, that would be incredible. And I still stand by it.
And then put it on home video, and they could be on Coliseum home video.
But I remember thinking, like, oh, they should do that. And it's like, I would look at all these venues, but, oh, my God, there was a Jewish overnight camp had the big outdoor, like an outdoor synagogue area, like where, you know, they do services and stuff. And I took one look at that, and it's all like the seats rising up, and this great thing, and then the lake behind it, this beautiful picturesque view. And I looked at that, and I thought to myself, I could put a wrestling ring right in the middle there, and this could be a hell of a thing. And so everywhere, always thought put a wrestling ring somewhere.
I've killed several hours just fantasizing where I could run shows, or like where I could watch shows. Like my old, you know, growing up, my goal was to wrestle at my old high school, you know. But you know, by the time I got into the business, they tore that down and built this brand new state of the art high school. I went to the crappy high school, you know, just. But I always do that, man. Like, oh man, you can run a show there. You can run, you know. I always wanted to run. Like I said, I always wanted to do. Well, here's a cool thing. Always wanted to do a show at Atlantic City High School, the one I went to. But I actually got to do a show at my grade school that I went to Gloucester City, New Jersey. And when I did the show, it was like it had been the first time I had been in that building since like 1983.
Wow.
And it was kind of cool.
Where were you in your career when you did this? Were you Blue Meanie? Like,
oh yeah, it was Blue Meanie. I was everybody knows Big Slam Vader, who recently passed away. But
I've seen him a few times on the indies. Yeah,
he went to grade school with my sister.
Really?
Yeah, him and my sister were classmates, which is kind of cool, kind of crazy. Damn. She always, you know, his name's. You know, she always called him Waldo because, you know, he became Crybaby Waldo. Then he was Big Slam Vader and all that good stuff. But he would book me, and why not? It's 20 minutes from my house. And then he said the school was Mary Ethel Costello School in Gloucester City, New Jersey. He's like, hey, I'm doing a show at Mary Ethel. I went, oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because, like, I went there up till like third grade, 82, 83. And then we moved to Atlantic City in 84. So I hadn't been in there since I was a kid. And it's amazing how your world is so much bigger when you're a kid. Like the town I grew up in, we lived in South Philly till I was 2, 3, and then we moved to Gloucester till I was 10. That town was huge when I was like a little kid. Now I go back and it's just like, man.
It's like two streets over and you're done. Yeah.
So it's just like to go in that school and see everything from an adult perspective. This was mind blowing. But it was cool to actually wrestle in the gym I used to play, and I'm like looking around.
That's awesome. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, imagine like I was seen from a movie where you're looking around and you're just seeing like flashbacks of like things. Me doing the Superfly snooker splash off the bleachers onto the tumbling mats and stuff like that. I started reliving all this stuff, man. I would have done that show for free just to have that experience of being in that building again as an adult. It's pretty cool.
I was just we were talking off air that the reason we're recording this on a Saturday because I actually just got back from Atlantic City. I was down there. I actually was staying in Ventnor, where my family, my grandparents always had a place. So it was a condo, a little converted motel, and nice. Nice little place. But I grew up going there. This summer is actually the 29th year that obviously my grandmother passed last year, but the 29th year that my grandparents owned the place. And when it was a motel, my family used to go there before it was, but obviously this specific room has been for the last 29 years. And you talk about walking around and just having just flashes. I'm walking around there. This is probably the first time I've ever been there by myself in almost 30 years. And because we're doing the show for Fight down in the Showboat, and I'm like, well, why don't I come down, check the place out, and because no one was there last year. So I'll check it out and see if it's something I can bring my family down, and so hopefully
that'd be great.
Yeah, hopefully we'll do that next week or so. But it was one of those things where, first of all, like, it's this tiny little place, but I remember being there either with my grandparents or with my parents and my 2 siblings, and so we're all crammed into this little place. But as a kid, it was perfect. It was what it needed, but now I look at it and everything does seem smaller. The one thing that didn't seem smaller, and this is the flip side of getting older, was I was like, maybe I'll walk down to Atlantic City. Like, I used to always walk down to Atlantic City. And I'm walking, and I'm like, dude, this did not feel as long when I was younger, And
especially you're walking down to the Showboat, which is
I didn't walk to the Showboat. No, I was going to walk. The Showboat I drove for that, and I had all the equipment and stuff. Yeah, God, no. I wasn't going to do that. But no, I just walking. I didn't make it the whole way. I turned around, like, all right, I'll turn around and go back. But every little place where you're going, like, you'd pass these little places, and I can picture having, and you can, it's a tough thing. And we've talked a lot about these things over, the past 64 episodes. And, it's very easy to become down or depressed about something when you look and you go, I remember spending the time with, like my grandmother, my dad, the people have passed, and you have these memories. And of course, every memory from your childhood has, rose-colored glasses as it is. So you block out the bad memories, and the good memories were the greatest times of your life, whether they were or weren't. But it's gotten to a point where I've started really getting excited about the idea of like renovating the place and breathing new life into things and looking at it and going, okay, well, this thing's not there anymore, but that's okay because now there's this, and now I can take my kids to this thing, and I could do something, and kind of have new experiences. Like I walked down this one street where we used to walk to Wawa from our apartment, and we'd always like walk down, and at a certain point you'd cross the street because there were these big like Dobermans that would bark at you. And I'm even like walking down, and I'm thinking, and I see the fenced area, and I'm like, oh man, I wonder if they're still here. And then I'm like, yeah, they'd be in the Guinness Book of World Records if those dogs were still here. It's been 25 years, but there was this, I used to, as a kid, there was this it was either boxing or kickboxing or something, but there was this little like floor ring, like a pony ring, it was like super low down, and they had a big window, and I used to walk by, and we were talking about seeing everything as a wrestling venue, but I'm looking at it, and this is before I had ever seen a ring in person, other than like going to a WWF show at the Spectrum, and and you're far back, and I would like stare through the window at this place, and now it's a cleaners.
Oh wow!
So that was a little, it was a little disappointing. Yeah, I walked past it. And I'm like,
I have those moments when I go back to Atlantic City, and that's cool. You said like the place you went to as a kid is still there. Mm-hmm. Every summer we would go to Atlantic City. We had this. My grandma called it a cottage, but essentially it was like this little. Maybe it was a cottage. Behind this, there's a bar, and then above the bar was apartments, and then behind the bar was another row of apartments, but then there's like this separate house. It was called Anne Marie's Guest House. They had this sign outside. You could rent for weeks, a week, a month, or whatever. And we would go down there for a couple weeks. And I remember I have these vivid memories of just taking the bus to Atlantic City as a kid. And there was always this curve in the road of the Atlantic City Expressway where everybody would kind of lean into the aisleway and see this, to look at the skyline, and you pull in and then go stay there. I think about that place to this day, and I still have the smell of the wood in the place, or the whatever they used to clean it and stuff like that. And
wow,
just good memories. And sadly, it got torn down, and it's Caesar's bought the place, and it's where the Caesar's garage is now. But
Paved Paradise.
Yeah. We would go up to there was an upper apartment where the owners lived, and they would let us sit out on the balcony, and you could just like look down and watch the waves and stuff like that. And before there was the Ocean One Mall, there was the $1 million pier down there, and like, dude, I'll hear a song on the radio, like I'll hear a Springsteen song, or I'll hear a Sister Sledge song, or a Pointer Sister song, and it'll take me back to walking down the boardwalk in Atlantic City, and the smell of peanuts in the air and candy and the rides and stuff
nostalgia,
like that.
The attachment
I live for that
between
shit.
music and smell is incredible. And that's something I love about the shore too is, and we can all joke about, the Jersey Ocean. Like it was, when my mother-in-law was down in Florida, and she was at the beach FaceTiming my kids, and she's like, look at the water and everything. And my daughter's like, wow, look at that. It's so blue. Like, I want to go to the beach. And I was like, well, we'll go to the beach, but it's a very different color when you go to our beach. But still, like, to me, that was the cool, like, as soon as I would park my car at our place, and I get out and I walk right up onto the board, because it's right on the boardwalk. And I walk right up onto the boardwalk, and just the smell of the air, everything. Yeah. You could close your eyes, and it could be 2005, it could be 1995, it could be, it doesn't matter. It could be any time, because you know exactly where you are, and it's a really cool feeling, and it's I joked before about like a mental health, trip, but it was really like, there's something about being able to just watch the ocean and just kind of hang out, and went to Custard's Last Stand. It's the best custard place in the world. Yeah, it's Custard's Last Stand.
You should walk in like Buddy the Elf and go, congratulations, you're the best.
Oh man, no, but it was good, and I treated myself after we finished up at the Showboat and grabbed a bite to eat. And when I was heading back, I'm like driving, passing the place. I'm like, I'm gonna keep going, and I was just like, I wonder if they're open. I didn't even check. I'm like, I wonder if they're open, and they were open. And man, and I got myself a lot of custard.
Dude, I do that. Like, I'll drive, like, I used to live on this one small street. Like I said, Oh, I lived in a couple places in Atlantic City, but one of my favorites was I lived like the opposite end of Trump Plaza, and then we moved to this other little street. But it was such a cool little quaint little street. And when let me jump back. I'm getting ahead of myself. When we stayed at Anne Marie's guest house, we became friends with the bartender at the bar up front. I think it was called Jack's Place. Jim McGettigan and his wife Ann McGettigan. So we needed a place to move. Unfortunately, Jim had passed, but we were still friends with Ann McGettigan. She's like, "Oh, there's a house down this street." So we moved down that street, and our neighbor that was there in the first apartment building we lived with was now our neighbor in a new spot.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And every time we go to Atlantic City, I drive down that street, and I know she's probably passed, and it bothers me that I kind of lost touch. But I like to see what's going on in the street that I used to live on and see who's there, and it basically hasn't changed at all, which is kind of cool.
And that's the thing, like the place where I'm staying. So, like I said, it was my grandparents' place, and they bought it. They would have been in their 60s when they bought the condo back in '92, and they made friends that became their best friends, their next door neighbors. And it's, you kind of grow up back in that time. Like you grew up, we knew everyone. We knew all my grandparents' friends. They all knew who we were. And if you need, you could pop into, any of their places if need be. And look, it's my grandmother passed. My grandfather is 94 years old. And him and one other woman, their next door neighbors were there. Her husband passed last year, and she's still around, and that's it. And the place isn't vacant. It's filled up with new families, and as it should, as a place should. There's new families having great memories at this place, and that's an awesome thing. And that's why I want to go with my family and create new memories, and just continue on. But yeah, that stuff can get a little sad, looking around, and I'm having memories of all these, of my mom and my grandmother talking with all the women around. And I remember one time specifically being in the pool, and my grandmother's there with all of her friends. My mom's down, and she's talking, and they my mom waves me over. She's like, "This is my son," showing off. And my grandmother's like, "Yeah, this is my grandson. This is all that." And I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you." My mom's like, she goes, "Oh, that's Diane. She's gay." And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, what? The woman's name was Gay. That was her name. Gay. Oh. I don't know what it was short for or whatever. Her name was Gay, and it hit me. I was like, my mom's just like, she's gay. And I'm like, because my first thought is like, Mom, what?
Mom,
who does this?
I wasn't going to hit on her.
Yeah, it's like, in case you got any ideas about this 70-year-old woman here. And I was just like, oh, and and my mom, after I said to my mom, I'm like, what do you, I was like, that was kind of weird. And she's like, her name is Gay. And I was like, because I honestly didn't, I was like I assumed, I'm like, her name has to be. I'm like, but whose name is Gay?
Right.
I'd never heard that before. So it was really, and this is back in, this is probably maybe 2001 or so. So we weren't, I don't know.
Right.
It was, but yeah, that always struck me. But look, a lot of those people are gone now, but it's, but
dude, I think about all those folks. We stayed at an apartment on Atlantic Ave, kind of a little bit past Caesars. And we always stayed on the beach where right now it's Bally's or whatever, but it was something else. And we always stayed on that beach, and we made so many friends from just sitting in the same spot. Yeah. That every year we'd go to the same spot and meet the same people and have the same jokes and have the same conversation. There's this old man, Jim Toohey, and I remember his name because I would go, "Hi, Jim," and my grandma would get on me, no, you call him Mr. Tui. And Mr. Tui was just like, no, he could call me Jim. And he's like, but he's like one of the first guys to teach me how to swim. Like, he was like this, he was like 80, slender guy, but like he would not give a fuck. He would just go out there and just dive and swim and give me pointers and tips on how to swim. And like,
that's awesome.
Dude, when I first went to the beach as a kid, I felt so bad for my poor grandfather because I was scared of the ocean. Like, he would have to, like, they would try to bring me to the ocean. I would just scream bloody murder. And then my grandfather would have to sit with my dumb ass on the boardwalk, you know. Mm-hmm. But then, like, something happened within the next year. They took me down to Atlantic City, and I went in the ocean, and they couldn't get me out. So, and then along with, you know, playing the ocean, and then Mr. Tui teaching me how to swim in the ocean and stuff like that, just, like, different memories and stuff like that I still cherish. And, you know, like you said, you know these folks are gone, but you still have really good memories.
And the thing is, look, these people, they made an impact on your life, and it's the best thing you can do is try and make an impact on the next generation, you know, whether it's your own children or it's, you know, you going to the shore and, you know, joking around with younger kids or something that are out on the beach or something like that. You know, that was really what I try to take away. Like I said before, you can get depressed over the stuff, or you can look at it and you can say, hey, it's pretty cool. Now I get to be that, you know, not quite as old as, you know, the guy, the people we've been talking about, but you get to look at it now and say, you know, like I had great memories of being on Ocean City Boardwalk as a kid. And I'm excited, hoping next week, if not next week, then sometime this summer, and take my kids down. And we've been before. I'm not saying like this is the first time, but that's the thing.
But now the world's opening up a little bit, and last
you
summer
get to a
was a
point where
little
those
bit
get to
shut
be your
down.
memories, and it's easy to hold your own personal childhood as like the most important thing.
It is.
You know, and it's great to be able to then go and kind of give that to somebody else, you know.
That's why I love watching movies like Stand By Me, where, you know, just kids, they don't have any cell phones, they don't have any TVs in their bedrooms. It's just a couple kids walking along a railroad track, kicking pebbles, and like you want to go find a dead body? Yeah, let's go look for a dead body. And, dude, when I was a kid, you just go out and play in the fucking dirt and just be a kid, you know? And, you know, I hate to get all George Carlin about it, but, you know, I cherished, you know, my childhood, and I tried to do things when I'm around other people's kids to be the adult that I saw when I was a kid. You know,
my kids love you. They're big fans.
That's awesome, and they got a lot of energy. So
yeah, they do.
They keep me young. So
make me old. So.
Or maybe they're absorbing my energy. I don't know. Maybe it's this alien thing. I don't know.
They live off of other people. They just absorb their energy and. Oh man.
But I always try to be like cool Uncle Meanie or crazy Uncle Meanie. Mm-hmm. I got my niece has kids now, and you know, I wish I had the time to hang out, you know, and more, and you know, hey, let's go to a ball game, let's go do this, that, and the other thing. But
well, and especially with the pandemic in general, like it's I'm excited. So not next week, my son turns 1. The following week,
wow,
my mom and her husband and my my brother and his wife and kids are all coming to visit. We have not seen them since February of 2020. They have never met my youngest son, obviously.
Oh, wow.
Just doing math. Wow. You know, and it's and kids change so quickly too. I mean, if you look at the last time that they saw, like my daughter just turned 5. Now she's like 6.5. My son was still 2, you know, and now he's 4, and like it's so it's incredible. And then my brother has, you know, my you know, nieces and nephew, and it's really gonna be cool to get to see them and have them all get, like we were even talking about when they all come the first night, we're gonna get some pizza and get a cake and celebrate my son's first birthday. And we were like, oh well, what will our seating arrangement be? And we realized, like, I can't believe this. These kids are old enough that we can actually have a kids table. Like we've never, the last time we were all together, we couldn't do a kids table. We had to be there with our kids, making sure, like my 2-year-old couldn't go sit at a table by himself and eat. Like we had to make sure that he was, not choking on his food and everything. But all the kids are going to be, because my niece is almost 10 years old at this point.
Wow.
And it's just crazy. Like, so they're all going to hang out and really excited about it. And then my sister and her husband, they're down in Florida still, so we're going to see them hopefully in August. But they've got this little guy who is just, I just can't wait to squeeze this fat little baby. He is so, but he's not even a baby anymore. He's like a year and a half old. Last time I saw him, he's 3 months old. And I can't, but thankfully through FaceTime and videos, she'll send all this stuff. It's hard to believe that I haven't seen him since he was a 3-month-old little baby, because I remember watching him grow up. Because of I couldn't imagine what this pandemic would have been even 10 years earlier. Yeah. I couldn't imagine. So it's exciting to get to see, and get to be. I also like the idea of being able to get to be the fun uncle, because that's how I started. I had a niece before I had my own daughter. So I was just the fun uncle. And, so it's nice to be able to have that. And, this has been a weird, this past week, for me, just like a nostalgic week. Last night, I had the 20th anniversary Zoom call with friends from high school. Wow. Last night, as we record this, so Friday, June 11th, was my 20th anniversary of my high school graduation. And we managed to almost get everybody. We did a 10-year time capsule. So this was like the 10th anniversary of the time capsule. So we were hoping to get everybody back. And one guy couldn't make it because he's actually a choral director at a school and was stuck at graduation. So he couldn't make, he kept texting. He's like, this thing's lasting forever. This lasting forever. So, but we got to at least like kind of all text him while we were talking. So it was all right. But, man, it was crazy though, to just get together 20 years later with these people. And, these are the people that I sat playing, WrestleMania 2000 with, playing as the Blue Meanie, and,
that's funny.
So it's been a very nostalgic week for me.
And to bring it all back, my 20th high school anniversary reunion was at the Showboat.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it all ties back into the Showboat in Atlantic City.
I'll tell you, the Showboat, when I was walking through, like to cut, when I was leaving, there was this, Mike took me through this like back area, and it was just what used to be casino floor, and it's just empty. Old really? Games just kind of sitting there, everything. And it really was like like I couldn't believe it, because that this entire section was just empty. So those things are not doing well.
Is the Showboat just a hotel now and not a casino?
No. They still had a casino section, but it was almost like you have your hallway going down, and there's casino on one side, casino on the other, but one of those sides is completely like curtained off, and it was just wow, closed up. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Very, very weird. But hey, look, it's hopefully things will kind of get back on track. I just, I don't want to just seem like it's just, the good old days, everything was better, everything. Like, there's so many amazing things today that we were just talking about.
Of course.
FaceTime things. Like, look, 10 years ago, we couldn't do this, where we've got people watching us live right now, and, our Patreon members who joined us over at patreon.com/mindofthemeanie, and we hope that you'll join us as well.
Come have the pre-show fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. To the point where we had to cut ourselves off because we're like, hey, we need to do a show, and we're
leaving too much here.
Yeah, so but no, we love our Patreon members, and we love all of our listeners. And so what else is going on, man? I feel like I've been kind of waxing poetic a little bit.
Dude.
Poetic's what I call them. What? What'd you say?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh.
I was giving you enough rope
What
to
I
hang
what I
yourself,
call my
so-
desk. I have a glass desk here, so I keep it nice and shiny. I'm gonna crack. I'm gonna crack a little aha open.
I kind of beat you to the punch. I couldn't wait. I had to get my ugly peach in.
Mango black tea, caffeine sparkling water with caffeine electrolytes. Aha. So what did you have? You had peach?
Yeah, I still have the remnants of the peach.
Nice.
Ugly.
How, man, is that one that you bought on your own?
Nah, it's still from the case because
How did you not finish those?
I was nursing them for the show. I was torturing. I was torturing myself.
Yeah.
Where I would, it's like, hey, they were nice enough to send us these cases. I'm gonna have. It would suck if we're doing like weeks and weeks of shows and I'm all out of product to display.
And hey, look, they're not currently sponsoring us, but the way we do it is this: we only take on sponsors of companies that we really believe in and we really like. So even when they're not sponsoring, we still promote them because they were, they were great. They're a great company. They were great to us, and I'm sure they'll be back as sponsors at some point. But we can't recommend Ugly enough. The Ugly drinks, they're fantastic. So go check them out.
As I open up my second seltzer.
Do it. A little liqueur. Vanessa says, waxing nostalgia episode name suggestion.
Write it down. That's it.
Waxing nostalgia?
Because I swear to God, last week you're like, what would you call the show? I don't fucking know. I don't know.
From now, it's going to be like, you ever see those things of like the like a birthday cake that's like says written on it, like, I want this cake to be left blank, That's just going to be from now on. What should we name the show? Fuck, I don't know. And that's what you're going to say. All of a sudden, that's what the name of the episode is.
I have a photo of my confirmation cake.
Yeah.
83, 84. No, man, I was 84, 85. I had my confirmation, and the cake said, "Congratulations, brain." Because they misspelled Brian.
Without your brain, you never would have gotten to that confirmation.
It wasn't like an insult, so I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Give me some of that brain cake.
Oh man. Hey, let's talk a little bit about Cella Toys for a second.
Absolutely.
If you're listening to
They're
this,
doing wonderful things, man.
dude,
They're doing great
that
things.
company's fantastic. If you're watching this, I'm holding, of course, action figures. Meanie's got his over his shoulder.
Yeah.
They have done such an incredible job, and we are proud to announce that their Cella Toys has sold out of the Mine and the Meanie 2-pack, including the damaged packaging.
It's mind-blowing.
And JB Toys and Collectibles has sold out of the Mine and the Meanie 2-pack. So the only place you can still get them is at mindofthemeanie.com. We still have some. I don't have the exact numbers, but there was a lot of damaged packaging and we were given the opportunity to send them back. But then we thought to ourselves, well, if it's damaged packaging, we could cut like $2 off. If you're going to open it up anyway, save a couple of bucks, right? Get the damaged packaging ones. And there's definitely enough for us to sign too. But
there's folks who like to let them breathe.
Yes. But here's the thing. James saying, love my action figures.
We love you.
Yes.
We love all of you. But
here's but even more
level.
if you buy our action figures. But here's the thing, and we made an announcement. So
as everybody else cancels their memberships. Yeah.
Yeah, right. We have we made an announcement that we sold out of all of our signed figures. And then I found 4 of them. And apparently were just tucked away while I was going through other ones. So we actually have 4 signed ones. So I'm going to open that up again for people to go order. So if you're thinking about that, I will actually open it up on Monday. So if you're listening to this, you can get 4 more before we say that it's out of stock again. We intend on getting more signed ones. So that involves Meanie and I getting together and signing the figures, which,
as long as there's cake.
Yeah, as long as there's cake. So we're going to plan it. So my son's birthday is next week. So we'll plan it for just a couple days afterwards. We'll have some leftover cake.
Yeah.
But so here's pretty much how it goes. We have we have a good amount left. As far as what can be signed, there's probably only about 50 or 60, if that. 2-packs that I would say are of a mint condition that could be signed. Because even if they're in like not damaged, there's damaged packaging where if things are like falling off the, and it's not really good, it's ripped or whatever. Then there's like normal packaging where it might be like slightly bent or whatever, and it'll probably just fix itself. But we're not going to sign those because if you're planning to keep it mint on card, we don't want to sign ones that are like even the slightest little bend. If you want it to be signed, we want it to be as nice. Because we actually had somebody send one back because they weren't thrilled with that there was like the tiniest little bend or something. And so we, here's what it is. But we appreciate them. So long story long, pretty much what I'm trying to get at here is if you want signed copies, go pre-order them now, because when we eventually, if people are continuing to order the non-signed ones, so we can only sign them. We can only put them aside to sign if you've pre-ordered. Otherwise, we're going to sell them, and then there won't be anything left for us to sign. So if you want the signed ones, pre-order them right now over at mindofthemeanie.com because they are going fast. We are very, very lucky. They are continuing to go quickly. So, they're going to be... We're probably going to hold some for when we do stuff in person, right? But at the same... yes and no.
Whenever the world opens up.
Right. I guess I'd be like, yes and no. Like, yeah, we want to hold some to be able to, like, sell at a table. But are we really going to tell somebody who's just like, I'd like to buy this? We're going to go, no, we have to wait because we want at the table? No, we're going to sell them. So if they're gone, they're gone. So make sure you get them.
Pressure's on, bitch.
Yeah. Because I will say this.
I don't know why I say that.
There, odds are, we can't confirm or deny, but odds are there will down the line, we will work with Cella Toys in the future. They're great to work with, great stuff. But I will say this, you will never see this Mind of the Meanie 2-pack again. They are not going to re-release the 2-pack.
It was a good concept, but it turned to be
the 2-packs
a little bit much for them.
Yeah.
Or hard to ship.
They're difficult to ship and everything, and they basically were like, there's a better, like, let's say there's like a tag team or something. Chances are what you're going to do is you're going to get like a deal to buy, think Axe and Smash from Hasbro. Axe and Smash came in that first series as singles. Later on, they had the tag team of Smash and Crush where you could get the 2-pack. But think of it this way, from Cella Toys, I'm pretty sure you're going to get singles of tag teams, and maybe there'll be some sort of a deal or something where you can buy, get both of them for a slight discount or something. I don't know, and that's up to them what they want to do. But I will say these Mind of the Meanie 2-packs, you will, while we hope to work with them again and do more stuff with them, you will never, ever, ever, once these are sold, they are gone. And that was by design too, because even before we knew it was a problem to do the 2-packs, it was by design because if we reissue them again, then they're not worth as much. And we want them to be worth something to the people who are keeping them mint on card and have them signed. We want there to be value.
For those folks who are willing to be the first ones in line we want you to have the benefit of saying you got like the first batch of Mind of the Meanie action figures. You should be rewarded. And that's why they'll just be limited to that run.
And there are a lot of completist collectors. And so if you're like a collector of Blue Meanie figures, right? You've got your the one from what's the company called? Figures Toy Company. Yeah, Figures Toy Company. You've got your Micro Brawler. And I am sure there are going to be now that, I mean, if you have your finger on the pulse of the independent action figure lines, there's so many coming out and doing Cella now is doing their 7-inch ones. There's lots of different things. There's going to be, without even knowing for a fact, I'm comfortable guaranteeing that there will be more Blue Meanie action figures. So if you're a completist, you need this 2-pack, because this figure right here that I'm holding with the Mind of the Meanie t-shirt and the @Blue Meanie BWO and @Mind of the Meanie on the back, this figure will never be released outside of the 2-pack. Could you get a repaint maybe one day wearing a different shirt? Sure, probably. But you'll never get this one. So if you're a completist, you need this one. And this is the original. Can't have a repaint without having the original. That's just a rule. So
it's laws of physics, damn it.
Yep. But yeah, no, but there's not, we're really pleased and really appreciative of everybody who's bought the 2-packs. It's mind blowing.
It's mind blowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say that. Yeah. Just the fact that this little podcast can put out a 2-pack of action figures and sell the quantity they sold is very, very cool. Very flattering.
Yeah. And the fact that we still have some, we have sold, I want to say at this point, I don't know exactly, but we've sold 2/3 at least of what we had, of what we actually got to sell from mindofthemeanie.com. And we had significantly less than what Cella and JB Toys had to sell. So it's really flattering. There are a lot of people with Blue Meanie figures on display, a lot of trash cans with my figure on display. It's it's really cool. But no, people have been posting things too, this is the coolest part. The Retromania iArcade, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
iArcade. I know there's like 2 I's, so I'm always like uncertain at how to pronounce it. iArcade. Yeah. People have been posting on social media all of these pictures where it's like, here's their setup with the iArcade, and here's me and Meanie sitting on it. And like, then people would be like, here's my whole Hasbro collection. And I'm like, why did they tag me in this? This is weird. I mean, cool collection, really neat. And then all the way up in the corner, sitting on the top, next to like a 2-up Ultimate Warrior, there's me and Meanie. And I'm like, this is insane. And we've talked about this before. Like, I look at it and I go, obviously Meanie. They got a retro Meanie. They want to throw him in there. But the fact that people have wanted to have my figure is so flattering and so cool. I have an action figure that has been to places in this world that I've never been. And that's really cool. Yeah. And James saying, Josh, your action figure is amazing too. Thank you. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so weird. It's awesome. And we really are grateful to everybody who's purchased them. And the concept art, that's been really cool too. We've sold so much of the concept art, the signed concept art, which was just, I mean, the artwork on that was incredible. I mean, the fact that people want that, it's awesome. It's just been such a cool experience. And now, Meanie, we've got wrestling buddies coming.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's something I grew up with as a fan and watching WWE, and you see the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Boss Man, all the great wrestlers who had wrestling buddies. And then now in this day and age, I get to say I have one. It's really cool. It's just another thing to knock off my bucket list.
It's definitely off the buddy list.
Yeah, my bucket buddy list. Yeah, it's very cool. I can't wait to get a few of those just for myself, and just adorn my the Meanie Studio, Trey Meanie Studios with the Russell Buddy. But seriously, I've seen what they've done for other folks too. They did the Mean Gene one. They did a David Boy Smith one.
Mm-hmm. There's a Delirious
Amazing.
Raven.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot
awesome shit.
A lot of people there. I want to kind of just go through some of the stuff for people who are listening who maybe haven't heard before, because August 7th, Saturday, August 7th, we are going to be doing an in-person and a virtual signing at Brothers Gatter Studio and Store, 4317 Main Street, Port Henry, New York, 12974. Again, that's the Brothers Gatter Studio and Store, 4317 Main Street, Port Henry, New York, 12974. The meet and greet's going to be from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time, I believe. And virtual we'll be doing 10:30 to 1. Definitely go and if you can, we would love to see you in person. But I am going to recommend reserving your time. RSVP now. You can get your time for the virtual. Virtual is going to run out probably even faster than the in person, I feel like. But make sure that you do it. A little bit about the event. We're going to be there August 7th, 2021. Again, like I said, the Brothers Gatter Studio and Store from 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. to do in person. It's going to be a meet and greet and buddy signing event. We'll be hanging out with them all day, talking wrestling, art, family, and maybe even legendary monsters. Definitely look into the monster in the area there. But here's what your ticket to the event includes. Blue Meanie and or Josh Shernoff collector wrestling buddies signed in person. The Mind and Body sticker, which is awesome, and the Blue Blot 8x10 original art print, a photo op with your personal camera, and of course the meet and greet with us and the Brothers Gatter crew. And then if you decide to do virtual, it's pretty much the same thing, just you're going to be on the computer watching us sign your stuff, and then it'll be shipped out to you. But make sure if you want these, because these are super limited. So we're talking about how we've sold out of all the other stuff. If you're Patreon, not Patreon, doesn't matter. There's no special thing. If you want this, we are not selling them personally. We will not have them to give to you. This isn't going to be, something that we put a couple aside. We're going to buy some ourselves to have because we want to have them. But make sure that you order them right now. And if you want it to be a part of the meet and greet and you want it to be signed, order the meet and greet. Do the, do the virtual one. Do the in-person one, whatever it is you need to do. If you're not sure if you'll be able to do there, do the virtual, and I'm sure they will happily switch you over to in-person if it turns out that you're able to make it. We don't want you to miss out on these. Again, it's one of those things. I'm a big fan. We've talked about before the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, and when they've always done their stuff, what I've loved about it is that when it's gone, it's gone. So if there's going to be another Meanie buddy or another Josh Shernoff buddy, chances are Meanie's going to have a different hairstyle or wearing a different shirt. I'm going to have a different tie. I love the idea of creating demand and having these collector's items so that you feel, if you're, like Meanie said, if you're first in line, we want you to feel special. This is our way of saying thank you for this support. Is that you're going to have something that it's not going to be like, hey, get this limited edition right now. And then 2 years from now, we're like putting out the same limited edition. And you're like, okay, I guess there's no value to mine anymore. So once these are gone, they're gone. So make sure that you get them and enjoy them. and snuggle with them or whatever it is you want to do. But we hope to see you on August 7th. I'm excited to be doing that. We're going to do the podcast live first thing in the morning, super early. It's going to be terrible.
Wonderful. No, it'll be fun. To see what comes out of my head first thing in the morning will be interesting. So
curious to see what comes out of your ass first thing in the morning.
But it'll be a good time, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hey, you know what else is exciting?
What's that?
When we get to ask Meanie anything. You want to do that?
Woohoo! I would love to.
Let's do it.
It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
All right. Ask Meanie is brought to you by us. Siege, I don't know, at CFG72730 writes, besides McCuskers and the ECW Arena, which Philly site that is most likely not listed in most, quote, top tourist attractions in Philadelphia lists would you recommend visiting to foreign tourists?
Wow. Eastern State Penitentiary, maybe?
Ooh, that's a good one.
A lot of people don't talk about that place, but it's been it was one of the first big penitentiaries in this country, and a lot of other places modeled theirs after the Eastern State Penitentiary. But also it was featured in movies and documentaries and TV shows. Tina Turner did a music video there. They filmed the movie 12 Monkeys there. But if you go there, I recommend going there in the daytime and taking the audio tour. They give you a little headset and a little almost like a Walkman. And what you do is you walk up to a placard and you hit the number that's on the placard, and you can read along. And Steve Buscemi does the audio tour, so he'll give you facts about that part of the penitentiary and stuff like that. And then if you're there at the right time, they have like little off the road tours there, like they have the synagogue there. Then they take you to where they have an area dedicated to the synagogue. Then they have another area dedicated where they talk about the riots that happened there one time. I'm going off memory. It's been a while. But Eastern State Penitentiary, definitely. And the cool thing is, it's like right in the middle of a small neighborhood. Like they built this neighborhood around it. So, Ghost Hunters has been there. I went on the ghost hunting thing there with some of the ghost hunters and did a tour there and stuff like that. So it's really cool. So if you're from out of town, and you've been to the Rocky Steps, you've been to Pat's and Gino's, you've been to Betsy Ross's house, and all that good stuff, go to Eastern State Penitentiary.
That _Clyde_guy writes, best #bar food at McCusker's Tavern.
Oh, man, they really haven't done food in a while, but I always would say their wings. Back in the day when, like, it got to be a bit much between bartending and going back and cooking and coming back and waiting on another person to drink and all that stuff. So, but like their wings were like amazing. So like back then, like if you went there when they served food, it was definitely the wings.
Another food question here.
They
Chris?
introduced me to sriracha, by the way, too. They did sriracha wings, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. Chris at ChrisWD2009. What were some of... This is not a food one. I'm sorry. Let's do the food one first. This comes from our good buddy Ringside Rant, at Ringside Rant. RJ, who's joining us right now on Patreon. But what would your last meal consist of? Appetizer, main course, and dessert.
Probably everything I've been eating the last couple days. Probably a steak, a barbecue, like a grilled steak, or with a sweet potato. Appetizer, not sure, but dessert, probably a pecan pie, something like that, some kind of pie, or apple pie with ice cream on it.
I don't know if this was meant for me as well, but I'm going to answer anyway.
Go for it.
Appetizer, I'm not entirely sure, but what popped to mind was like really good mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
I'm prefacing this by saying they'd have to be like the best mozzarella sticks in the world, but I feel like that would be an appetizer I could get behind. Main course, I'm going to go with ravioli. And not special over the top ravioli. I'm talking frozen in the bag ravioli with some just generic sauce. Nothing special. It's like I had growing up. I just loved it. It's my favorite thing. It's what I have on my birthday every year. And then my dessert would also be what I have on my birthday. That's why this is an easy one to answer. My dessert would be dirt. The
Dessert?
Dirt. It is like a chocolate pudding and Oreo cookies all crumbled up, and it's really freaking good. And that would be it. I would basically, but that would also be the way that I would want to die. If that's my last meal, is I would basically want to eat the dirt until I go into like a diabetic coma, and that's it. Because there's times where I'm eating that, and I start having like the sweats, get sweating under the eyes, and like, and I'm like, all right, we gotta stop it here. So I basically just keep pushing through until I start like vomiting, and but that's the plan there. The other question that came from Chris was, what were some of the creative excuses promoters came up with to not pay Josh or the Blue Meanie on the indies? We've gotten questions similar to this before. I've never had a creative one other than there was that one putz that just kept going like, oh, I'm going to have to get you a little later. Oh, I'm going to PayPal you later. Oh, I'm going to do it. And that wasn't creative. That was just being a scumbag. So, Meanie, what about you?
There was always the infamous promoter had a heart attack. They had to take him out, before the main event, and then you always hear the stories about like how the house was light, so the promoter would put on a battle royal a last second battle royal, so while every wrestler is in the ring, he can leave out the the back door with the money. And stuff like that. And in those cases, as soon as the bell rings, one guy gets eliminated right away and runs to the back and tries to make sure the promoter's still there. But to me, like there's been a couple shows where, so-and-so, he's not feeling good. His heart. It's like, come on, man. How many promoters having fucking heart attacks?
Yeah. I mean, it's a stressful job, but not that stressful.
I was on one show and fucking Tito comes up to me and goes, hey, you might want to go talk to this promoter. I think he's trying to pull a fast one. And me and Tito went up to the promoter, and Tito was like, yeah, we're made sure we're getting paid. And the guy gave Tito a money order, which Tito said, you know what, you take this to me, I'll get my money from him, which was kind of cool.
It's awesome.
So
really awesome.
Yeah,
because that's
Tito
money order. It's paid. You're getting it guaranteed. So.
Yeah. It was a random show in Canada, and I got to watch Tito Santana work Greg Valentine. That was pretty cool. And here's another funny story about that show. Oh my God, our listener and good friend Steve Goff, one of our patrons, Steve Goff. This was that show, and I was like, man, this show's a little weird. Guys flying me into Canada. I don't know who's picking me up. Hey, you want to go to a show? You want to hang out? He's like, sure. So we run into fucking Norman Smiley at the airport. I was like, hey, ride with us, right? So we ride an hour or so into Canada and do the show, and me and Smiley are standing there and watching people put out chairs, and Norman goes, man, this guy's putting out a lot of chairs. As in, like, I hope they're
not gonna get filled.
Yeah, I hope it's. So every now and then I'll randomly text Norman Smiley. I think that guy's still putting chairs out. he goes, Meanie, good to hear from you. And but I've either heard them all or I've experienced some of them. But that's the thing. If you don't have the money to run a show, don't run the fucking show.
Yeah. Make sure you have all of the money before you go into it. So
if you're going to run a show, as soon as you say, yes, I'm doing a show, you're $10,000 in the hole.
Well, look, I mean,
then,
it's pretty much this. If you're booking talent, you start off with your budget and you book the talent that you can afford. You book the venue that you can afford and the ring you can afford. And you unfortunately, I think pro wrestling, everybody can do it. You know, I ran a show when I was 15. I ran shows when I was 19. I did things like that. And I can tell you, it's not easy, but you can book a venue. You can do all that. Now, I made sure to do it the right way. I made sure that I had an envelope with everyone's name on it, with everyone's pay in it, envelopes ready to go, so that everyone was getting paid no matter what the gate was. Because to me, that's how you do business. And not even how you do the wrestling business. It's how you do business in general. I've always believed that a person's handshake should be as good as their signature on a contract. I think that, you know, I'm a firm believer in that your word has to mean something. Because if your word doesn't mean something, what do you have? You know, it's all about reputation. I would rather have had a reputation of people going, rather than being like, oh man, it was a great crowd, but yeah, the promoter's kind of whatever, but it's a great crowd. I'd rather have the reputation of, yeah, not a lot of people showed up, but if Josh books you, you're getting paid. You know, like that was more important to me. Now, I obviously wanted, it was a great crowd and Josh paid us. You know, that was the goal. But a lot of people can just put on a wrestling show because they all think they're going to just make money. And I've been to shows where you see the promoter and it's his first time. He just doesn't understand. I booked the names. I put up flyers. Why isn't anyone here? And like, man, there could be a million reasons. And I don't think people understand. You look back at like ECW, and I don't think people sometimes realize why ECW was so big, because that could have just been an indie. That could have never gotten bigger than just being a Northeast indie. And it speaks to what it was, that it became as big as it became. But to me, like what Meanie said, like, just don't run a show if you can't afford it. You know, run it like a business. Don't run it like a hobby. Even if you're doing it once every 6 months, run it like a business. The same way with this podcast. You know, we like to joke around being the you know, least professional podcast or whatever it is that we used to say. But we run this podcast like a business. We know what our overhead is. We know what our budget is for certain things. If we have merchandise that we want to do, if we have events that we want to plan, if we have, you know, it is run like a business. So, I mean, look, it's not the greatest business, but, you know, but it's run like a business so that we know that we can afford to do the things that we're promising that we want to do. We can afford this. We can afford that. We know that there is no way we're going to, you know, reach out to you guys and say, unfortunately, the show is going to have to end because we can no longer afford the overhead of hosting the site and do it. Like, all of that stuff is done. We know going into it, we had a budget, and that's what it should be. RJ writes, memories of dusty roads.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm pretty sure I told my story.
Yeah. A burger?
For those who hadn't heard it, I did one of those wrestle reunions. I did one in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, maybe 2004. It's like right after One Night Stand. And I got to do a 8-man tag with, it was me, Dr. Tom Pritchard, D'Lo Brown, and Dusty Rhodes versus Test, Steve Carino, Doink, which was Matt Bourne, and the
Real
Man
Doink.
Superstar. Yeah, the real Doink. And Man Superstar, Bill Eadie. And we did. It was professionally filmed, and for whatever reason, it's never come out. But me and Carino are standing there going, like, is this really fucking happening? We're really in this ring with all these people? And it's funny, last night, yesterday I posted a photo of me and Dusty from that match. But there's other matches where I got me, Dr. Tom, Dusty, and D'Lo to do the Meanie dance. And I took those photos and texted them over to D'Lo Brown. And he was really happy that I shared them with him. So, and then, I did a wrestle reunion in Florida, and that's the night I worked Kamala as Blue Mala. I was a Blue Kamala. And we're driving back to the hotel, and it was one of the guys from the show, and, driving. And of course, Dusty, you get the front seat. I'll be the guy in the back, like Wayne's World. And, hey, guys, how you doing?
If you're going to spew,
yeah.
spew into this.
Yes. And it was like one of those things, I got the thing where I have a cutoff point before I don't eat X amount of hours before I'm in a match, because then it'll just turn into a Gallagher show. Just blah. So, I made sure I didn't eat before my match because I didn't want to get sick during my match. So we're driving back to the hotel, and, Dusty's telling a story. I go, and I pipe up and go, hey, guys, any chance of, can we stop over there at Burger King and, maybe get a couple sandwiches, take back to the hotel? And you just hear fucking Dusty deflate like, burgers. Not beer, but burgers. Meanie, I thought you were going to say, hey, guys, let's stop at the gas station and get a thick pack. Let's get some beer. Nah, some burgers. Meanie, if Dickie Murdoch was in this car, there'd be a fist fight right now. And I just started laughing. And we did go through Burger King. I got some burgers. Dusty did not. And then eventually we stopped at the gas station. He got his little 6-pack to go back to the hotel room. He's just like, burgers.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to be around Dusty, because I had been around him before, but then when I was running 3PW, we booked him from 3PW, so that was I wasn't really in my right state of mind at those shows, so it's I really didn't get a chance to hang with Dusty. So to do the wrestle reunion shows and tag with Dusty, ride back to the hotel with Dusty, get to have some conversations. Those are moments I cherish.
James Sorensen writes, I'm going to my first indie wrestling show next week. What should I expect?
Nice. Bring a sleeping bag and a pillow, because they'll probably have 13 matches. And they'll advertise it for 7, and it won't start till 7:30. And then there'll be a 45-minute intermission. And then I don't know.
I think it really depends on what indie. I mean, there's
I don't mean to
such a
disparage
scale.
whichever promotion. Yeah. This is why I really haven't missed doing shows that often. I love the act of getting in the ring and performing. I just hate the act of everything else that goes on around the show. It's we have to have a fan fest. We have to have a meet and greet. It's that's the new thing, which is cool. But I'm used to, if a show's at 8:00, I'm used to getting there 5:30. Don't make me get there at 1:00 when I just got off a plane full of screaming babies. Let me go, let me land. Let me get off the plane. Let me go back to the hotel. Let me maybe take a cat nap, or wash off the flight that I just got off. Let me literally go take a shower so I could wash the germs of the other people I was on the plane, in this germ tube with for a couple of hours. Let me just catch my bearings, and then I'll go to the building, and then we'll just have an intermission, But now everybody's got to have a fan fest, and so on and so forth. But yeah. I don't know what the promotion is, but hopefully they run 7 matches and the show's over and done in 2 hours, so you can have the rest of your night to have a social life. That's what a wrestling show should be. You go to a wrestling show, have a great 2 hours. It could be a part of your evening. Yeah. Hey, let's go to the wrestling show, and then we'll go to the bar afterwards. Or if a promotion's really smart, they'll say, we'll have the show, and then come have dinner with the wrestlers at so-and-so's steakhouse or so-and-so's mom-and-pop restaurant. I have the mom-and-pop restaurant sponsor the show. Then everybody goes back, and then the mom-and-pop make their money back. Well, everybody goes back. They have a meal. They have this really good, casual time around the wrestlers, and everybody gets to eat and be merry. Just it's a simple formula that not too many people take. But Donnie Nova's brother. Donnie B ran perfect shows. You go in there.
No, I was going to say, James says the promotion is Next Level Wrestling.
Unfortunately, I have not heard of them, but hopefully it's a good show. But Donnie B used to run shows it was Phoenix Championship Wrestling out of Toms River. You'd go there. The show would be 2 hours, in and out. You go, do some intermission, sell some merchandise, and then he would have like a sponsor, like an Italian restaurant, where we'd all go there, and the fans would come out, and we'd all have a good time, and just be casual, If the fans weren't like staring at their watch while the 3 count's hitting, that's the worst show you go to. These guys are killing each other in the main event. And then before the 3 count, everybody knows the 1, 2, and then instead of cheering, they're putting on their jacket because you've held them hostage for 4 hours. Yeah. What the fuck? It should be a fun part of your night, not a hostage situation.
Here's one to break it up a little bit. Antonio, Mini Transit, Patreon member. He writes, how do you guys like your steak? Well done?
Medium rare. Not rare, but a little pink in the middle.
I don't eat meat anymore, but I used to love steak. And there was a while where I was like, I'll have it well done. And then I was like, I learned that was a terrible thing to do. So by the end, it was medium. I didn't like it rare, but medium. Nah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I would hear well done, and you hear the word well done. And you're like, oh, that must be the perfect way.
Exactly, right?
No.
Great question here from Snipping is Fun. Oh. Where did you get your dance moves from? Like, what inspired it?
Lack of rhythm. Just
was it like a raising the roof type situation?
Booker T was doing the raising the roof thing, and then Nova started doing the raising the roof, I guess, because that was the thing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went from raising the roof to trying to keep my balance, I guess. I don't know. I just turned into the meanie dance. It's like one night I had to dance off of Bubba, and Paulie looks at me and goes, "Can you dance?" I go, "Yes." And in my head, I go, "No." And, I always do the butter churn or, whatever, stupid dance and stuff like that. And, yeah, it became a happy accident that has caught on to, I had somebody email me, "Hey, look, here's me in the commercial for the New York State Lottery, and I bust out a meanie dance,"
That's awesome.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's just to see people bust it out randomly is pretty cool. Yep. It's a happy accident.
Oh, ooh. Breaking news. I wanted to see if I could actually just break in to this. Keep talking. It's not that important.
Oh, shit. I got my hopes up that there was actually some... Well,
I have a question for you about it.
Okay.
Did you hear like a loud burst of thunder this morning? And then nothing?
No.
Okay. I did. My wife and I were, it was probably, I'm trying to think what time it would have been, like 7 something or so.
Right.
Maybe 8. I don't know what time it was, but all of a sudden we're just talking, and we hear this like loud, sounds like thunder, and our freaking like wall in our house shakes. Like the sliding, we have like a mirrored door, like a like linen closet type deal, and the doors were shaking just for like a second, and we're like, whoa, like, and then no storm, no anything, and that was it. Right. Like, what the? My wife just texted me now, so that boom this morning that we were worried was thunder was apparently an earthquake.
Huh.
It is listed as an unconfirmed earthquake because none of the earthquake monitoring systems have actually confirmed it. But the effects were reported from South Jersey through Bucks County.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's
like
I mean, what the? Come on. What's going on here? Get Mars ready.
We had like a minor earthquake back in like maybe 07-ish.
Yeah. So everybody posted a thing that never forget, and it had like a lawn chair tipped over. But I do remember that though. I remember. I
was driving in my car. And I felt my car move. I was like, and you know, when you're driving an older car, a car does slightly something different. You're like, you kind of go, huh? Is it breaking down? Is it breaking down? And, you know, but at the same time, somebody on the radio went, whoa, because I was listening to sports talk radio. Mm-hmm. So I was listening to WIP, and they're like, whoa. And they're like, they're in mid-sentence, and they start selling that, like, the earthquake live on the radio. And, like, as my car's shaking, and they're shaking in the radio station, and they're like, yeah, that was like a minor earthquake. And then, like, I get to where I'm going, and there's a guy who kind of dumb. I was like, hey, did you feel like this? Feel what? I was like, nothing. Go back to fucking sleep. Yeah. There's just a fucking earthquake. Everybody but you felt.
I was also in the car when it happened. I was parked and at a red light, and I was on my way to work, and all of a sudden it felt like when you're merging onto the turnpike and like a big ass truck comes by and it gives you that little shake. But again, you know, I'm stopped at a light. All of a sudden I'm feeling it. Same thing as you. I'm going, all right, what is going on with my car? Let's throw this thing into park. And I literally, I put it in park, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I thought it was just me. I get to my office, and I sit down at the computer and check out, you know, the news, and everybody's just like, you feel that earthquake? You feel the earthquake? And I was like, holy crap. But my brother was already at work, and he did not feel anything. That's crazy. It was like down the street. Like, it wasn't that far, but he didn't feel anything.
That's weird.
But yeah, but people felt at all different levels. But yeah, so apparently we had a little mini earthquake. Little earthquake.
What time? What time was that?
I don't remember. I'm thinking, so it was definitely after 7:00. I'd say somewhere between 7 and 8 would have been. I'm just trying to think.
That's a weird stretch too, from South Jersey to where you live.
Yeah,
and we didn't feel anything, so weird.
But I said no. Did they say, was it South Jersey? Is that what I said?
I thought you said South Jersey. Maybe.
Yeah, South Jersey through Bucks County is apparently.
Weird.
The weirdest thing though was the sound.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I thought it was thunder. Like, it sounded like it was just like a, you know, like it sounded like thunder. Weird.
I was in an earthquake in California once. That was unique. Yeah. It's like, did you ever see the cartoon where, you know, Tom and Jerry, and the mouse is on the piano keys or inside the thing, and the cat's trying to go, rink, and then, like, you see the quake coming to you then you feel the quake, and then you turn around and you watch the quake leave you. It like the ground shook coming up to me.
Wow.
And then I felt it, and then I turned around and watched it go away from me. It was so bizarre.
Here are my 3 earthquake experiences, okay? All in California. Well, not counting, obviously, the one we just talked about, but in California. So the first one I experienced was I was in a hotel. I was up near, I want to say like Big Sur. And I was with my buddy Mike, and we were headed up from San Diego up to meet some friends that lived in San Francisco. And we were driving, stopping in different places along the way. And we were in this hotel room. So I'm in my bed, he's in his bed. But all of a sudden, like he just felt sleeping. All of a sudden it felt like the bed was just shaking. And then we hear this like banging on our door. And we're just like, what the fuck? Like, you know, we're like out cold. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Suddenly we wake up a little bit later, and I'm like, dude, did you shake my bed? I'm like, because it felt like he went over and was just, because there's banging on the door, and I'm thinking to myself, did someone bang on the door? And he's just like, Josh, like, wake up, and he's like shaking the mattress or something. He's like, no, I thought you shook my bed. And I'm like, but did I dream someone banging on the door? He's like, no, I heard that too. So apparently there was an earthquake, and someone came by and banged on the door to wake us up to let us know that there was an earthquake. And we were just like, not dealing with that. So that was the first thing. So we're like, wow, that's crazy. So then when I lived in California, I was about 30 miles north of LA. And I was in Studio City first, the first earthquake. And it was me, my wife, and our cat was sleeping on the bed, and it's middle of the night. And all of a sudden, we're a few floors up in our apartment, and all of a sudden, everything starts shaking. Like, it is just, everything's shaking, but it's quiet. But the cat jumps off the bed and is now, like, just in the middle of, like, definitely has, like, a what the fuck face, you know? And she's just, like, looking back and forth. Everything was shaking so much so that I was like, I thought the building was going to collapse and everybody had to leave, you know. But we had cards. I want to say maybe they were like engagement cards. Like we had just gotten engaged or whatever. We had cards on our breakfast bar. Undisturbed.
Weird.
Like everything shook, but those cards were still there. So that was weird. And then the third one, I didn't even know what happened. And I joked that it was just me dropping some weight at the gym because it was when we were living 30 miles. We lived out in Valencia, California. And my wife's in the house and I'm down the street at the gym. And I got home. She's like, did you feel that earthquake? She's like, holy crap. Like that shook the whole house. I'm like, no, I was right down the street at the gym. So I'm joking. I'm like, I mean, I was, you know, I had like 115s at one point doing a little try workout and, you know, I definitely dropped it. Was that it maybe? And she's like, shut the fuck up. And like, you know, but so I didn't feel that one, but we apparently had one, but it was all that stuff. And I may have told this before, like when we moved into the house and they're like showing us through the house and the guy's like, yeah. And if there's an earthquake, you're going to run around here, turn the gas off. And I'm like, well, why? And he's like, well, you know, the gas pipe's running under the house, and obviously with an earthquake, you want to shut that gas off pretty quickly. And I'm like, but what if I'm not home? Like, what if, you know? And he's like, I mean, you know, look, you'd probably be fine unless it's a really big earthquake. And that's where I was just like, we're going to move back to Pennsylvania. Like, this is bullshit. So, but anyway, those are my earthquake experiences. That, and I saw Earthquake and Typhoon backstage. At the Spectrum.
At the Spectrum. Yeah. Kayfabe, brother.
Yeah. Hey, so what do you think? We got time for one more 3-part question?
Sure.
From Mark and Dryden.
A 3-hour tour.
So the first question here. Did Meanie know in advance about surprise wrestlers coming in or not? And if so, who were any he was psyched or not psyched that he heard were coming in? So I guess we're thinking like ECW. There was like, you know, you'd have your surprises show up.
Yeah, guys would just basically show up. Like, I was surprised to see him in the locker room, and people were surprised to see him in the crowd. I wasn't privy to, I hear so-and-so's coming in. You know, there was one time they had talked about maybe having Vader do something, because he was doing that Vader Road Rage tour where he would just go to random promotions and just beat people up. You know, he would show up in Memphis and different, areas. And I think there was talk about that once, but nobody really. The only wrestler I had an inkling that was coming, like when I was in WWE, is like you kind of knew Jericho was coming, but that was about it. You know, as far as my tenure in WWE, but like, dude, like I said, I was in ECW and I was checking out the crowd, and I saw Tracy Smothers walking through the crowd. Come back to the locker room. I was like, holy shit, cool, Tracy's here. Or, you see fucking Lawler walk through the back, the night he comes in like, hey, Jerry, hey, Meanie, how you doing? And he had walked in. We had our own, they were called Damage Crew. They were our own medics. People thought they were gimmicks, but they were real medics. I guess because they had, they had a gimmick name, so people thought they weren't really medics. So I forget what happened. And I wish I could remember her name. Had a bottle of rubbing alcohol and squeezed it, whichever you prefer. And I accidentally shot a stream of rubbing alcohol right in my eye.
Oh.
It's like maybe I had like a scrape and she was helping me just clean it off or something. Maybe I got caned. I don't know. I'm just trying to hypothesize why she was, she had a rubbing alcohol, but she went like this to grab it and put the lid on it, and when she went like that, it went like snake venom right in the eye.
Jeez.
I'm like, and Jerry walks in. Hey Jerry, I'm like rubbing my eye. He's like, what happened? It's like, she got me with alcohol. And that was about it. And then like when Cornette came in,
it was usually at the Travel Lodge when you get shot in the eye like that. But
it was never. It wasn't that sanitary.
Oh my.
But no, seriously, like Lawler came in, I didn't know until Cornette came in, I didn't know till he walked through the back. Hey, Meanie, how you doing? Hey, Dre, hey, Jim, how you doing? Did that kind of stuff. We had surprise guys hanging in the back, like Scotty Riggs would come hang out, like if he was had an off night. One night, Mike Chiodas came by just to hang out with Fonzie because he was from.
Yeah, he was a ref.
He's WWE, but he's WWE, but he lived in Cherry Hill at the time, so he would just come over with Fonzie and hang out, Just different things.
I know I said I was going to do like a 3-part Mark and Dryden, but we got some other great questions from our Patreon members.
Sure, let's do it.
I want to just hit a couple of things. So one thing, Antonio Santos says, Matt Cardona or Nick Gage, who do you got? Dude, I love what they're doing. Like, it feels, I'm not a big Nick Gage fan or really a Nick Gage fan at all. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I'm just not, it's not my thing. The death matches,
right.
Like I respect it. It's, not diminishing or whatever if you're a fan of it, but it's not my thing. But what I will say is that dude seems real. So when you're looking at this and clearly it's a work, right? Like, intelligently, it's a work because Cardona didn't just show up at GCW and Nick Gage, who's, it's 100% a shoot and gets hit with a double arm DDT. You know what I mean? Like, and is selling in the corner. Like, so there's that part.
I like how Cardona did the Moxley shoulder thing.
Oh, it was fantastic.
People thought it was John Moxley coming in.
It was fantastic. And Cardona, that dude has figured out, and you shouldn't be surprised when you think about how he got himself over with the internet long before anybody else. And, well, other than you, of course, putting it on your shirt. But I love it. I'm scared for him. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, get out of there. What are you doing? But I think, man, if you want nuclear heat, Cardona's got to become GCW champion.
Dude,
Like,
he's playing it up.
Holy shit.
And he's playing it up really good. He's like, I love my GCW universe.
Yep. Oh,
And
he is
stuff
just,
like that.
it's incredible. The MDK,
Yeah.
and he's got Major DTOF King, because the DTOF is where he displays his figures. It is somebody said something online, which I agree completely. They need to have a DTOF needs to be brought in, like, and someone needs to be like suplexed through a DTOF or something.
Dude, I didn't even know that until you just said it. That's great.
Yeah, I will say this. I don't watch GCW.
I admire GCW.
I first of all, I know their crew, GoPro, that does the video for it. They're the best in the business. They're awesome. There's a hell of a lot of talent coming through GCW. Again, I don't watch it. It's not really my cup of tea. And that's okay. It's okay if it is yours. But I'll be watching this for sure. If not,
I admire them.
Not actually being there, there's a chance I might actually go down there, because it is going to be on Fight and it is going to be relatively local. I think it's going to be down in Atlantic City. And, so they might want me to do something with this being that big of a thing. And by they might want me to, I may or may not be calling Mike Weber tomorrow and saying, hey, Mike, you want me down there?
But I got to say, I admire them because I ran 3PW in Philly, and just trying to run a show over in Jersey became a fucking hassle. And these guys are running shows in like Wyoming.
Yeah.
It's like they're running shows, but in like random places. And I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. That's kind of cool. Again, I hate that I have to say this before I say it. It's like the deathmatch stuff really isn't my thing.
Yeah.
And people go, well, you were in ECW. Yeah, that's how I got the opinion. You get like Lance Storm and Jack Evans got into it the other day on
about Lance
Twitter.
Storm's tweet. I was just going to say,
yeah,
I love that quote. Here, continue. That's exactly what I was going to just say.
He has his quote, but mine was like, we used to protect each other and tell the world it was real. Now we kill each other and tell the world it's fake. Mm-hmm. But he has a different version of it. But
same deal.
It still applies. But like, if you're going after Lance Storm, you're going after the wrong person. Because Lance is, guys like Lance, and I'm not even saying I'm on Lance's level as a worker, but like guys like us say certain things because we've seen what that stuff does. I've seen the evolution of Balls Mahoney go from this barrel-chested 300-pound guy down to a guy who lost all his teeth and couldn't eat and, died on his couch. I've seen the effects of what deathmatch stuff does. And if it's your thing, cool. But please heed a warning to say, hey, it's not going to last. And you're not going to make money doing it. If you're doing it because you like pain, and fine. I'm not going to, I'll never discourage anybody. As long as you're not physically harming somebody else or ruining somebody else's life doing something, have at it. You want to smoke weed, fine. You want to drink booze, fine. As long as you're not, beating somebody else up or robbing them or stealing their money, okay, fine. As long as you're contained to yourself. But I'm going to tell you, you can do all the deathmatch stuff you want, and there's people who enjoy it, and there's an audience for it. I'm not knocking it. It's not for me, and I wouldn't advise doing it for the long term because I've seen what it does to people. And that's my opinion from a guy who's in ECW.
Question from James Sorensen. Josh, what was your comeback sequence and what was your finisher? Because I'll never get to see your matches. Thank you, OVW. Well, I will say the stuff in OVW, the people who were there have said that it was some of the greatest wrestling they've ever seen. It was one of those things, the matches I put on specifically in OVW, and specifically the tapes that have been destroyed, were, up there. I don't want to say it's like AJ Styles studied them, You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but like it was kind of one of the, I remember, oh God, the stories. Undertaker was just like, dude, you put that kid on the same card as me, I'm retiring because I can't follow that. Like there was like a lot of stuff like
Word.
that. Unfortunately, all of those tapes were destroyed. But you could probably still find some stuff where I was just kind of, we'll say phoning it in.
Yeah.
Wasn't really anything to write home about. No. So comeback sequence. It's funny when you're jobbing out, you don't really get a lot of time when it's like a 2-minute squash to get a comeback sequence. But no, I as far as my finish for a while, I used a thing. It was kind of like a bulldog / cutter that like I would use their own arm under them and then hit like a kind of like a running bulldog and have them give themselves like a RKO type thing. But some people, I couldn't figure out how to take it and it could get a little awkward. So towards the end of my career, like the what I did to beat like Rich Swann, what I did to beat him, you know, but you know, you get what I'm saying. But what the move I did there was, I would do a DDT, kind of like the even flow, like the float over DDT, and I'd roll through with it and lock my legs around. So I'd end up sitting and they would be sitting. I'd lock them into a guillotine and then for a submission.
Yeah.
But as far as like with like a comeback, I mostly worked heel. But I would say that I usually would involve some sort of like a flying back elbow, something like that. And like most like flying back elbows, and then if I was maybe a duck under and hit like a duck under clothesline neck breaker or something like that. Like I'd have to really think about it to remember. I didn't have like a set, you know, I didn't make it big enough to necessarily have that type of stuff. But like Meanie, what would your like comeback sequence a bit? Like, did you have like, I didn't have I didn't have that, you know?
Yeah, my matches basically started off with me being the fun-loving guy, and then somehow I get screwed over, and then I would become serious. And then, always dependent on the opponent. You know, you never have, and you always try to switch it up a little, you know. But you know, I think it's been well documented. Yeah, I've been more of a tag team guy, so I usually just
Hot tag.
you know, make the hot tag and fire up and figure out a way to get everybody involved. And then depending on who's going over, you know, you just got to figure that out.
Yeah, like for me, like I said, it really was. Sometimes it would be one of those things where it would be, you know, they'd send me off. I'd either duck under the clothesline and hit a neck breaker. I'd duck under, hit the ropes, and hit him with a flying back elbow or flying forearm or something like that. It was like a cutoff type deal. And then from there, I would just, you know, punch and kick. Punch and kick him into the ropes to go send him off, do something, and you know, and then get cut off again and lose. So you know, that was it. But no, it was. I'm sure if I look back, I'd be like, oh wow, I actually did have this. I actually did do these moves, but I don't really remember. But yeah. So I guess at this point. Maybe
Before we go,
Yeah.
I'd like to plug that this Thursday, if you're listening, if you're listening now on Patreon, this Thursday, if you're listening on Monday, this Thursday, I'll be doing a virtual signing Thursday, June 17th at 7 p.m. for Signed by Superstars. You can pre-order right now. They have various 8x10s and stuff. You can purchase, and I will sign. Go to signedbysuperstars.com. Do your pre-order right now. And if you want to watch me sign your item live, go to facebook.com/signedbysuperstars. That'll be this Thursday night.
And this Wednesday night, I will be on a park bench in Monduck Park. And I will have a stack of 8x10s next to me. If anybody wants to come by, I'll be feeding the pigeons. But no, Yeah, definitely check that out. Meanie's getting, this is like, I feel like this is like the start, Meanie, of you kind of getting like your feet wet back into getting back out there.
Yeah, I'm not doing, I got the Alaska show and that's about it, but I'm not really looking into getting back, but like I'll sign all fucking day.
Yeah.
You know? Interact and be jovial.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like put my foot in the water. Even though it's just an enclosed signing. So it's just strictly virtual. But it'll be a good time. This Thursday, 7 p.m., signed by superstars.com. Get in there and get it on. I don't know what that means, but just do it.
James kind of threw a last-minute question in. Do you think we'll ever see Mind of the Meanie in AEW or WWE? Mind of the Meanie? No, like I guess there's technically a chance that an AEW show could happen in Philly, that Meanie could be like a guest at AEW and I could be there for Fight doing like a pre-show backstage thing and like interview Meanie backstage at AEW before or after the show. I kind of feel like that's seeming like the most likely chance of something like that ever happening, but I will say WWE, they do not seem, we're trying to do something for So Says Shernoff where I was going to interview a really good friend of mine, and WWE said, oh no, he's too busy. And he said, I'm not busy. And they said, yeah, you're too busy. So doesn't look like I'm gonna be working with WWE anytime soon. Meanie, I think Meanie, I don't think Mind of the Meanie, but I think Meanie, you have not seen the last of Meanie in WWE, and I think Meanie in AEW has to happen at some point. That's just my opinion.
We shall see.
Yeah. And I mean, if it counts as Mind of the Meanie in the sense that I'll be watching it on TV and probably take a selfie of myself with Meanie on the screen behind me, then yeah, there's a good chance. But no, if I could see, there you go. If I could see Meanie on AEW or WWE, and if the greatest thing that could happen would be if Meanie's involvement in this podcast could play even the tiniest role in him being on AEW or WWE, that to me would be a win. And
I like being the surprise anyway. So
but I guess that's
all she wrote.
Yeah, that's it. Unfortunately, I'm looking at the time, and apologies to Al Snow. Al has been in the green room sitting here. Should I let it? You know what? No, we don't have enough time. Al.
Is there enough water in there for him? Is he staying hydrated?
I don't know.
We'll get to him.
No, he's you know what? He's actually, I think he's trying to, right now, he's going through tapes, probably trying to find the old tapes of my classics. But yeah.
Sorry, Al.
Yeah. Sorry you can't do it, but in all seriousness, my stuff in OVW was they were matches. The bell rang, and then the bell rang at the end, and moves were done in the middle. But I may or may not have been exaggerating some of the quality of said matches. But yeah. But you'll never see them. So anyway, Al, again, apologize. We're sorry.
So bad. So
yeah, but I think we'll just kind of wrap it up. Hey, so Meanie, again, where can they do this thing? This virtual signing Thursday. What time?
This Thursday, 7 p.m. Signed by superstars.com. Pre-order your photo, and I will sign them live Thursday night on Facebook.com/signed by superstars.
And if you're thinking to yourself, oh man, I just missed what he said. There's no way I'll remember that. I'm driving in the car listening to this. Well, that's fine. Just make sure that you follow him at Blue Meanie BWO on Twitter, and he'll be tweeting all about it across all social media platforms. You can follow me at So Says Shernoff, and you can follow us at Mind of the Meanie. Make sure that you go to youtube.com/Mind of the Meanie and subscribe. Hit that subscribe, that like, and that bell so you know what's going on. We do have that new episode of Talking with Friends over there. It's gotten nice reviews, which I really appreciate.
Very nice.
Very nice. And then, what else? Oh, yeah, make sure, go over to Brothers Gatter. You're going to want to, we'll post a link there, but you're definitely going to want to go and pre-order Meanie and it's Brothers Gaddor, GADDOR.com, brothersgatter.com, and go to their events section and pre-order as soon as you can to make sure that you can be there for the virtual or the in-person. We would love to see you. Again, the event is going to be August 7th in Port Henry, New York. I guess that's really it. Go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie, prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie, and prowrestlingtees.com/So Says Shernoff. Also, while you're there, check out prowrestlingtees.com/That Was Extreme, prowrestlingtees.com/Talking with Friends. We've got lots of stuff over there. So go, have fun, buy shirts, and if you want Meanie to say hi to you and congratulate someone on their high school graduation or whatever it is, go to cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO, and if you want me to break up with someone for you or whatever it is, I'll do that. Go to cameo.com/So Says Shernoff. But most importantly, Meanie, I think they need to come back here each and every Monday for another trip in the mind of the Meanie.
Blue World Order. The world of MLW radio never stops.